If we traveled 20 years into the past, how would you describe anime in the early 2000s? Some may say that it was the end of a more edgy era, where gore and violence was on the forefront. But I beg to differ. I believe that it brought the birth of the reinforcement of specific anime tropes. Every anime had to have a cast of characters with a personality that fit in specific boxes. If someone liked crabs, they'd have to make it their whole identity. If someone liked nuts, then they would... This strange obsession with stereotyping was the reason for the introduction of the different deres, from characters being super quiet to being super argumentative. They all had their little quirks, but one stood above all of them, corrupting the taste of most of us, for the better or worse. And I'm talking about... For those that don't know what a yandere is, let thy poet explain to you.
Yandere is a portmanteau of two Japanese words. The first is yanderu, which means to be sick, and the second is dere dere, used here for love-struck. A yandere is often sweet, caring, and innocent before switching into someone who displays an extreme, often violent or psychotic level of devotion to a love interest. Basically, every Duke Dennis victim.
They're basically the cuckoo of kakas of anime. The type of character that got these people acting a fool. And I completely understand, cause
it's me, I'm nigga.
The violent love-struck character is a trait that was here for a long time. But for some reason, during the early 2000s, it got a resurgence in anime, exposing many weebs to these strange eldritch creatures. In my case, my first introduction to this archetype was cause of this cursed game. Honestly, skip this game. It's definitely not worth your sanity because of what this man has done to the community. For a lot of people, Death Note was the show that made them ruin their taste in women with Misa. Which, I get it. Get you a girl that will help you take over the world. Plus, she gets bonus points for fueling the goth girl aesthetic, cause we need way more of them. For the new gens, Himeko Toga and Yuna Gasai are probably your first introduction to this level of obsession, and I'm sorry. Not because they may not be my cup of tea, no. I just have beef with their series, nothing personal. My real reason is that I believe that they don't make yanderes like they used to. I'm not sure when I realized this, but I feel like every single time that I see a yandere now, I feel like something is missing. Oh, wait, I know! They're all fucking children! Don't you miss when these crazy shorties were in their mid to late 20s? I swear these authors are allergic to make anyone over the age of 18. And some of you will say, oh, you just want to goon to these women? And all I gotta say to you is...
You got me!
But for real, the high school setting trope gotta be one of my biggest pet peeves in anime. Because I feel like it restricts your characters so much. And this applies to yanderes too. Not only do they become so predictable with their obsession, but I feel like there's so much that you can write about kids being kids before you have to suspend your sense of disbelief. The only time where I didn't really mind it too much was with Yukaku Yamagishi from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and unironically it was when they actually left the campus. Her funny dynamic with Koichi was definitely the highlight for her appearance, cause I'm a sucker for ships where the other person is constantly checking if you should be shipped straight to Arkham Asylum. But if you want the peak of yanderes, Esdet is definitely the only answer that I will accept. Honestly, she was hard carrying this dumpster fire that was Akame ga Kill. Let me run you all the pros and cons that she had. She definitely plays the role of a sadistic seductress really well, with the mix of sensuality sprinkled in with the mindless violence that the show had. Philly on Mars would definitely approve of her, especially you people that be getting stepped on at conventions. It saddens me so much that we don't see as many yanderes as before. Like, Since when do these manga authors start going to therapy for their unhealthy expectations of relationships? We seriously need to give them back what they were smoking in the early 2000s. What I feel is currently happening with this trope is that it's currently merging with other tropes to make these characters feel more human, which I'm not complaining. Cyberpunk Edgerunners did it perfectly by merging the crazy traits that a Yandere would have with the calmer traits from a Kudere to come up with the character Lucy, and honestly, they cooked. This show was so good that it got people to go back to the train wreck of a game that was Cyberpunk 2077, and honestly, with all of the updates that they did, I can say that it's actually pretty fun. The lessening of these crazy girl tropes feel way less forced, which I'm not annoyed with. Just a little sad that they essentially have become a relic of the past. These strange little quirks were some of the reason why anime felt a bit slapstick at some times, but at least I'm glad that the industry matured to grow past these boxes. I just want more crazies that work a 9 to 5. Is it too much to ask?